Howdy folks, I'm Doug Hunter. Some of you may know me as the Cowpoke Cook, and today we're cooking turkey. With the holidays right around the corner, I figured it might be a good idea to give you folks some pointers on how to take the fear out of fixing that Thanksgiving bird. So let's talk turkey. Growing up in Central Texas on a turkey farm, I learned a thing or two about these birds. And one thing that stands out in my mind is a smaller bird is a better bird. So when you go to the store to pick one out, try to find you one that's in that 12 to 15 pound range. You'll be glad you did. Gonna need to thaw it out. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that this bird or any other bird is gonna thaw out overnight. That's just not gonna happen. My suggestion to you is if you're gonna cook it on Thursday for Thanksgiving, you need to put this bird in your refrigerator no later than Sunday. You want this to thaw out nice and slow. And that way, by Wednesday evening, when we get ready to brine this bird, it'll be thawed out and ready to go. So it's Wednesday, and we're ready to brine the bird. Now some of you may be asking, Cowpoke, just exactly what is it we're talking about when we say brine? Well, the simplest explanation for that is soaking it in a saltwater solution. But I'm going to kick that up a notch or two, because it wouldn't be Cowpoke cooking if I didn't. So we're going to start out with our basic saltwater brine and add a few other ingredients to it. We're going to add some chiles de arbo, some garlic powder, some brown sugar, some bay leaves, and some coriander seeds. Now for the full recipe and instructions on how to do this, we're going to post it on the page, so you can go and check it out later. But right now, we're going to get started. About 3 quarts of water that I've got in here that's already starting to boil. And we're going to start adding these ingredients that I mentioned earlier. So we're going to get our salt. Our chiles de arbo. Garlic powder. Some bay leaves, some brown sugar, and we're going to bring that to a boil. And while that's coming to a boil, we're going to toast these coriander seeds. And what I've got is a cast iron skillet over here sitting on some medium-high heat, and we're going to bring that up and let those toast for a few minutes. While we're doing that, we're going to get our water and we're going to bring this to a boil. Make sure that sugar and that salt dissolves. Well, our coriander seeds are just about where we want them. They're getting nice and toasty. We can smell them filling the air in the kitchen, so we're just going to add that right on in here, like this. And we're going to go ahead and continue to bring that to a boil. Now, brining means that the bird is going to have to be completely submerged in our salt water or seasoned water solution. And I know that y'all are all sitting there thinking, how am I going to do that? I may not have a pot big enough or a refrigerator space to do that, Cowpoke, so what are we going to do? Don't worry, I've got your answer. I'm pretty sure everybody out there has got a cooler or an ice chest sitting in the garage or over in their utility room. So go get it, scrub it up good, clean it, disinfect it a little bit, and voila, problem solved. You have a ready-made place to brine your bird. You're going to need to keep a couple bags of ice on hand though, because we want to keep this bird chilled to below 45 degrees while it's brining. And since we can't fit it in the refrigerator, we're going to accomplish that with ice. Our brine's come to a boil and we've cooled it down. It's time to put the turkey in the solution. I've already added about 3 gallons of water into this ice chest. And I'm going to take this bird and we're going to put her right in. Now you want to make sure that it's completely submerged in the solution. Now we're going to add our brine solution. And a little more ice. just set overnight. Anywhere from 8 to 12 hours is going to be plenty of time for this to brine. If you want to let it brine a little while longer, that's just fine. Come tomorrow morning, after we get that cup of coffee, we're going to start all over again. We'll see you next time. Next morning, and I'm finishing off that good cup of coffee, had to get up a couple of times in the night and make sure that we had plenty of ice in the ice chest on the bird. Like I said, we don't want this thing to warm up above 45 degrees. So, you might want to check on it once or twice in the night. Today, we've got our turkey out of the brine. We've rinsed it off thoroughly, and we've patted it dry with paper towels. So now it's time to stuff and season this bird. We're going to start out by seasoning it. The recipe for the south of the border Texas turkey is posted on the page. You can go down there and find it. We're going to make a paste out of the seasoning. First thing we want to do is we want to gently lift up this skin between the breast, or under the breast, or over the breast, so that we can season underneath there. And we're just going to take it in our hands, and we're going to rub this paste all along down underneath this skin on top of this breast. That way, some of the flavor is actually going to permeate down into the bird itself. Now once we get that all nice and seasoned up, we're going to lay the skin back down, and we're just going to continue to season the outside of this bird with this seasoning paste. Now once we get that done, we're going to go ahead and stuff it. You want to try and get some seasoning over the entire bird so that it's got plenty of flavor all throughout. This is definitely not going to be your typical Thanksgiving turkey if you use this recipe. It's going to be a little spicy. It'll have a lot of flavor to it. It's going to turn out, it's going to be really good and moist and juicy. Alright, we've got that seasoned up pretty good. I'll rinse off my hands here. Now we're ready to stuff the bird. The dressing recipe is also posted on the page, and this is pretty simple. Once you get it mixed up with your hands, we're going to just stuff it right inside the body cavity, and we're going to put as much of it in there as we can. And this is going to hold a lot of moisture in it, which is going to help keep the bird from drying out, and it's also going to absorb a lot of them other flavors. If you have any left over, you can always put it down in the roasting pan and cook it while you're cooking the turkey. I would suggest that you not do that at the very beginning though. Wait until you're about 2 hours away from a finished bird. And once we get done and we get ready to put this in, we're going to put it in a preheated 450 degree oven. And I know that all y'all that have read on the turkey package, it don't say 450 degrees. But trust me, you do what I tell you, you're really going to enjoy this bird. Now I've taken the pop-out thermometer out of here, and I've also removed the little leg hitches that they put in. I just don't have any use for plastic on my turkey, and I don't think anybody else should either. Those pop-out thermometers are not as reliable as an instant read thermometer, and we want to make sure that we get at least 165 degrees before we call it good. Alright, we got our stuff. Rinse my hands off again. And we're going to put it in the roasting pan. Take her right over here and drop her in. Now I like to take the wings and tuck them down underneath the body of the bird. And this one's not wanting to cooperate. Alright. And we're going to put it in uncovered. 450 degrees for the first 30 minutes. And then we'll come back and turn the heat down and cover it up. What we're trying to do is get a little bit of a sear on that skin to where that paste will kind of make a crust to help keep all them juices and flavors inside your bird. Okay, we've been in the oven for about 30 minutes on 450, and you can kind of see that we're getting a caramel color on the skin and on the top of the bird, which is what we're looking for. So now we're going to back it down to 325 degrees and cover it and stick her back in the oven, and we're going to let her go for about 3 hours. That'll get us close to being done.